Disclaimer: this review is mostly subjective, but you may disagree with me on some parts. That's just how it is. I do not stand this group. I tried to always get the members' names and voices right, but it might be that I switched them up a bit. Then let's go. Hello and welcome to my first discography review of 4 whole songs. Today we will review IVE's whole discography and will rank them on a scale from 1 to 5 in 4 different categories, that being 1. Mixing. Mixing is probably the easiest category to get points in, especially if the group is from a bigger company. That's why it's the least heavyweight category. In this category, I will be rating the balance between the instrumental and the vocals, mostly volume-wise. For example, I would rate a track in which the instrumental clearly drowns out the vocals very low, while I would rate a track in which the vocals are clearly audible, while also highlighting certain parts, for example ad-libs. 2. Instrumental. That is of course a very subjective category. I will try my best to explain my thought process behind the ratings. 3. Vocals. Vocals, on the other hand, are not as subjective. I am a singer, not a professional though. But I will try to rate it subjectively. Of course, vocals are auto-tuned on a recording. So instead of rating the vocal quality, I will rate use of vocal affects, use of ad-libs, the overall combination of voice and instrumental, etc. 4. Lyrical content. I am a songwriter and my strong point by far is writing lyrics. And I am a person that very heavily pays attention to lyrical contents of songs I am listening to. However, I am neither an English nor a Korean native speaker, therefore it might eventually happen that I miss out on wordplays and the like. Please point that out if you notice it. A song is able to get up to 5 points, with mixing making 20% of the total score of the rating. The instrumental making 15% of the score due to its subjectivity. Vocals making 30% and lyrics making 35%. That will determine the overall rating of a song on a scale from 1 to 5 stars. Okay, without further ado, let's start. Debut song 11. Mixing. The mixing is pretty solid, nothing really to complain about. The only really noticeable thing is that some of the ad-libs are mixed pretty well, still nothing spectacular. 4 out of 5. Instrumental. The song starts off with a from traditional Middle Eastern and or South Asian inspired music. The into then slowly introduces vocals. The verse has pretty noticeable background percussions and then a change in percussion in the second part of verse. There comes a very smooth beat switch in the pre-chorus, accompanied again by a percussion change. The chorus is fuller than the aforementioned parts and introduces a xylophone, then comes a strip down for the 4-1-2-3 part. Pretty interesting is that the song has post-choruses, the first one being a repetition of the intro and a different second post-chorus, which is a continuation of the chorus. There's a strip down for the percussion-heavy bridge and then it goes from the bridge into the pre-chorus, which honestly, I don't see that often in songs. Normally you would go straight to the chorus after the bridge. The song ends on an outro with no instrumental in last part. It was really hard to separate that song into different parts, because the instrumental changes so often. And I find that pretty impressive, so a 5 out of 5 for the instrumental. Vocals. The vocals are solid, the ad-libs are good. The one thing that is noticeable is that the vocal tones of the members fit together quite nicely, that's why the transitions from one member to another are pretty smooth. And since it's their debut track, I think I can rate vocal tone as well. 5 out of 5. Lyrics. The lyrics are confusing. I can't quite get behind the meaning. It's very cryptic. For example, they work with many metaphors, like that day, the fragrant purple mood. A dream that makes me feel good countless times. It does make sense when you think about it a long time, but you have to interpret a lot. I'm also bothered by the not continuation of certain motives. 4. Example: the color motive, which describes having a colorful heart, probably as a metaphor for emotions. That's what the purple mood line is referencing. That is used in the pre-chorus is solely used in the pre-chorus. Now to the meaning of the word 11 in the song. I did a bit of research and a total of 3 total Google searches, and found out that the phrase actually comes from football. Since the most valuable 11 players make up a team in football, you make me feel like 11 means you make me feel valuable. Additionally, in the demo of the song, you make me feel like 11 means you make me feel like 11 out of 10. I will cut the lyricist some slack because the structure of the song is pretty unique, so it's probably hard to write for. Nevertheless, the lyrics only get a 3 out of 5. The overall score of their debut is 4.1 stars. First B-side: Take It. Mixing. The mixing is solid, I guess. And because good mixing is solid and doesn't stand out, it receives a 4 out of 5. Instrumental. The instrumental begins after the first vocals and actually has a not just percussion and bass, but also a melody. But I can't really filter out what instruments plays the melody. It might be a pan flute or a sitar with added effects, I'm not sure. But if it is, it would fit nicely with the South Asian inspired section of 11. However, the melody disappears in the verse. The pre-chorus is filled with MIDI chords. The chorus is a mixture of the pre-chorus and intro. The bridge instrumental is pretty good, especially the last part with the short pause, to build suspension when it changes into the chorus again. The only really standout parts are the intro or chorus, but the melody in both of them is really good, so 5 out of 5. Vocals. The vocals are pretty standard. And the ad-libs, especially in the verse, they are there. I haven't decided for myself yet if they are good or bad. But at least they are not awful. The vocals in the chorus are very good, with many high notes, but for the most part pretty unremarkable. So, 3 out of 5. Lyrics. The lyrics are something. Well, first of all, the motive is pretty interesting. The song seems to be about a toxic, very standoffish person and how they interact with others. The song is structured in many different parts, and even though the song works with repetition quite often, it doesn't become boring. In fact, it is very catchy. But some of the lyrics are just, huh. Like this one. What are you hesitating about, baby, so picky, picky? Like a stuffy nerd, baby, just take it, take it. What? Also, it's never really explained what "take it" the phrase in itself refers to, like what should we take, a 3 out of 5. The overall score of Take It is 3.5 and therefore 3 rounded stars. First comeback: Love Dive. Mixing. The instrumental is very loud, but somehow it works. As I listen to the song, I clearly notice the instrumental, but it is not distracting. Nothing really stands out. 4 out of 5. Instrumental. A very bass and percussion heavy instrumental with almost no change from the verse instrumental to the pre-chorus one. A change in percussion for the chorus part, with more electric effects. The later chorus instrumental is similar to the verse instrumental, just with added effects. A ticking effect connects the chorus and the second verse, similar to the sound of a ticking clock. Interestingly, time is mentioned in the lyrics of the song, so this effect may be a reference to that. Also, there is a nice pause in between the second pre-chorus and the chorus, to raise tension. This song is, contrary to 11, a proper dance break, which is the first that a really big change in the instrumental happens. The percussion is in the background, while a very annoying effect gets highlighted. You know, when I heard the ticking part, one was sure I could at least rate the instrumental a 5 out of 5. Then I heard the dance break and well, it is 4 out of 5 now. Vocals. Very nice ad-libs, especially in the pre-chorus. The ad-libs aren't just supporting the main vocals, they also create a change in atmosphere. Instead of as usually separating the verse from the pre-chorus through the instrumental, the parts are separated through the vocals. Also, the specific ad-lib is reused in the chorus, therefore tying it into the rest of the song. The use of whispering in the dance break is also pretty interesting. 5 out of 5. Lyrics. Everything 11 did lyrically wrong, Love Dive did right. It continuously stuck with the diving motive in every part of the song. I also like the references to Greek mythology, which you can see in the narcissistic line. For those of you who don't know, Narcisse is a figure from Greek mythology who was in love with his own reflection. He sat on the side of a river every day and did nothing but look at his reflection in the water until one day he decided to lean down and kiss his reflection and then drowned. In the wider sense, he took a love dive. And you see, normally, I would rate the lyrics pretty low, since the bridge is missing. But I had a Percy Jackson phase as a kid, and therefore I'm a sucker for Greek mythology and will rate the lyrics 5 out of 5. The overall score is therefore 4.65 stars, making it 5 stars when rounded. Second B-side, Royal. Mixing. You know, actually the sound and mixing quality differs from the device and site you use. For example, when I listened to Royal on my phone on Spotify, the mixing quality was solid. But when I listened to it on my laptop on YouTube, it sounded horrible. I would advise you to always listen to Spotify, since compression and sound quality on YouTube is not that good. With that said, the mixing on Spotify was solid. So, 4 out of 5. Instrumental. The instrumental is very bass heavy. What a surprise. The verse instrumental is percussion based, the pre-chorus more MIDI based, and the chorus can be split into 2 parts. The first with an instrumental similar to the verse 1 and the second with a MIDI percussion-based instrumental. The instrumental isn't that impressive, I can't really analyze that much out of it. But it's solid, so 3 out of 5. Vocals. The melody begins with flats in the first part of the verse. After that, the vocals are pretty standard with many high notes in the pre-chorus. The chorus vocals are again very standard with the exception of the You Know part, which is sung by Liz. That part is sung as a downward vocal run. In the second verse is the first real rap I heard from them. But, sadly, it wasn't that good. Ree's part was a bit better than the part of Gul, but both of them were just K-pop rap, not necessarily bad, but also not astoundingly good. After that comes a part with pending vocals that is pretty nicely incorporated. The second pre-chorus again mostly shines through the many high notes, especially the last one sung by Liz. The rest is pretty standard, with the only real other noticeable thing being the outro vocals. The vocals on that track are good, but not standout good. So only a 4 out of 5. Lyrics. There is nothing that stands out lyric-wise, with the exception of a dive reference in the outro. There is seemingly a shine motive in the lyrics. They use the word shine, especially in connection with diamond, pretty often. And I don't understand why they didn't just name the track Diamonds. Especially since both Royal and Diamonds are 2-syllable words that are definitely interchangeable in the song. At least it does have a proper bridge and chorus. But that doesn't really count for too much. 3 out of 5. Royal's overall score is 3.5 stars, and therefore 3 stars when rounded. Overall score and final thoughts. The overall score for the whole IVE discography is 3.9, so overall 4 stars. Now their career up until now was very short. But I would say that their discography is really good. Do I think that their B-sides are worse than their title tracks? Yes, but they are B-sides, and they not be musically good, but they are definitely bops. Because you see, with the exception of Love Dive, all their lyrics are pretty mediocre at best. And while I love songs with deep lyrical meaning, sometimes it's fun to listen to fun songs with stupid lyrics. They don't serve deep social critique, but they do serve a vibe. Now for what makes a typical IVE sound. After looking at their songs for a considerable amount of time, I am pretty sure that the unique song structure of their title tracks, especially the pre-chorus, very important for the IVE sound is. Contrary to most other songs, I can't really pinpoint the separate parts of the songs. Both have a verse, then there is a minimal change which might indicate a pre-chorus or not. Then there is an even bigger change, the beat switch part in 11 and the so narcissistic part in Love Dive, which might be a pre-chorus, a refrain or already the chorus and then again, a change that is definitely the chorus. From the top of my head, I know no other group with a similar song structure. That's what makes the IVE sound. Now the question is how long they can stick with that formula until it gets repetitive. We will see. Do I stand this group now? Yes, but Liz really gave me no choice, just look at her. Anyways, did you disagree with me on any point? What is your opinion on IVE? Do you think Love Dive is a masterpiece? Yes, or yes. I hope you have a nice day and see you maybe soon. Bye.